The Madlanga Commission of Inquiry is grinding on. And the latest round of evidence has dropped like a brick on the pavement in places like Khayelitsha and Alexandra. What started as another high-level probe into dodgy tenders and political interference is now showing its teeth in the daily grind of ordinary folk. We are not talking about abstract billions here. We are talking about why your child still walks to a school with no proper fence. Why the taxi rank smells like a sewer after years of promised upgrades. And why the police station down the road feels more like a checkpoint than protection. Testimony this week pointed fingers at how contracts for basic infrastructure keep getting rerouted through connected hands. One witness laid out how funds meant for water reticulation in the Eastern Cape townships ended up paying for luxury vehicles and consultants who never set foot on site. The result on the ground is the same old story. Taps run dry for weeks, forcing women to queue at communal points where fights break out over who gets the next bucket. Kids miss school because there is no clean water for the toilets. That is not theory. That is what mothers in those areas are dealing with right now while the commission hears polished versions of events in air-conditioned rooms. The police angle is hitting harder. Evidence around procurement for vehicles and equipment has raised questions about why stations in high crime zones still run short on working cars and fuel. Residents in Mitchell's Plain and Umlazi say they already know the answer. When a call for help comes in, response times stretch because the few available vans are shared across shifts or sitting with mechanical problems. The commission is digging into whether this stems from inflated prices and kickbacks rather than simple budget shortfalls for the person whose house gets hit during load shedding. The difference between a patrol that arrives in 20 minutes and one that shows up the next morning is not a statistic. It is whether you bother reporting the break-in at all. Unemployment stays stuck because small contractors who could fix potholes or maintain clinics keep losing out to the same big players. One submission showed how local emerging businesses get sidelined through complicated tender rules that favor those with political links. The knock-on is visible in spaza shops closing earlier and young people hanging around street corners with nothing to do. Crime does not need much invitation in those conditions. The commission is not inventing this. It is confirming what street committees and ratepayers associations have been saying for years. Critics will say these inquiries drag on without enough arrests or asset recoveries. They have a point. Previous commissions produced thick reports that gathered dust while service delivery protests kept flaring. Yet the Madlanga process is at least forcing names and numbers into the open. And some of those details are starting to match the lived experience of people who pay rates but get little back. The danger is that it becomes another talking shop. If the recommendations stay on paper, the same cycle repeats. Higher prices for basics, slower response to emergencies, and more money leaking out before it reaches the ground. Ordinary South Africans are not waiting for a final report to feel the effects. Every delayed tender means another month of unreliable electricity in rural areas or uncollected rubbish piling up in the townships. The commission has a narrow window to link its findings to real fixes, like tighter oversight on municipal spending and quicker blacklisting of repeat offenders. Without that, the inquiry risks becoming background noise to the same daily struggles. The streets are watching to see whether this one moves beyond the usual script.